We're at the Barbican Centre here in London. This place was built in the 80s and it's an arts complex with this beautiful brutalist architecture. I live about 20 minutes from here, and as I was making Dear Friend, often when I was feeling uninspired or kind of didn't know what to do next, I'd go on these long walks and listen to music, and this was kind of one of the places where I found myself returning to a lot of the time. January this year was when I kind of really made most of this record. I had returned from Australia where I'd been visiting family and friends and playing shows, and I kind of came back to my first London winter, and it was brutally cold and getting dark at like 4 p.m. and it was kind of like a real shock to me, especially coming from the Australian summer. I'd come back thinking that the album was almost finished and I just had to mix a few tracks and it was ready to be submitted for mastering. But as I started to get more into trying to finish all these ideas, I realized that it just wasn't feeling right and it didn't feel like a cohesive piece of work. So I kind of went back to the drawing board a little bit and started writing songs again. I ended up writing about 7 or 8 of the tracks that ended up being on the album in January of this year here in London. My process of making this album, I kind of really wanted to make a world that you could step into for 45 minutes. So I had all these ideas that I'd written all open in one Ableton session, and I was trying to piece them together from start to finish, and I was getting so focused on how all these songs, the transition from one to the next went. It was kind of driving me a little bit crazy. It was really like the most challenging thing that I'd kind of ever made. I thought at many times about almost scrapping it or starting again, but the album that became Dear Friend started appearing, and it was at that point that then I kind of really got into the production. And I was running stuff through tape machines and putting it in reverse and using analog synths and doing all these different production things. I think if you're sitting there trying to think about, oh, like that's a cool production thing or that's how it's made, I'm kind of like missing the mark. At the core of what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make people feel something, and hopefully this whole body of work from start to finish, people can listen to it and go on a bit of a journey. I'm so proud of all the songs that are on there, and I'm so proud of them as a body of work. I'm so excited to share with the world and for everyone to hear.